would you say if someone said, as a career working woman, that you can't have it all? What do you say to that?
I don't know. I mean, I feel like you can have it all, but I'm speaking from a different position because it's just me. I'm not married. I don't have kids, and I know that brings an entirely different dynamic. But I do believe that that's a place I'd like to be at some point, and I believe I can have it all. Men have it all, so why can't women, I think it just takes balancing and prioritizing, setting goals, and realizing that one person's path is not necessarily everyone's path. So just because, you maybe did it one way or in a certain number of years, it doesn't mean that I have to achieve the same goals in the same number of years. I may have to be a group supervisor for 10 years. Someone had to do it for 2 years. But whatever it is, just realize that your path is your path and just continue trying to achieve it. It's possible.
Well, so the attorney in me is sitting here thinking, what does it mean to have it all? And, it's different for everyone. I think that everyone has priorities. It's a zero-sum game, right? You have X amount of hours in a day. You prioritize between your work, your personal life, whether it be family or interests. I do think, though, as we strive to gain more leadership positions in terms of women in general, that's a question that we'll have to continually ask ourselves. What are our priorities? How do we want to balance our ambitions and career progression with perhaps responsibility at work? And I see that in my own home. I see it in my friends' homes in terms of reaching out to their spouses and asking for help and having a mutual understanding as to what the priorities are. Having it all, it sounds like an impossible task to take on, but I think what is truly important is to follow your passion. If you're really passionate about the job that you do, if you have ambition and motivations, just go for it. Do your best, try to achieve that. Don't lose sight of other things that you may be passionate about, be it family or hobbies and whatnot. But that's something that we're just going to continue to struggle with, I believe. And hopefully, with more and more women in the workforce and in leadership positions, it will get easier.
Well, as the oldest one here, I can safely say that, and my daughters are I have two girls, they're 28 and 25, so I feel like I can come from a place of having lived through the different stages of what does it mean to have it all. And I look, the measure of my success at this point in my life is not so much where I am in my professional career, although I'm very blessed and very thankful, I take it very seriously, but I look at the impact that it made on my daughters and where they are in their lives now. And so I can tell you from the older one here that on the one hand, it's not so much the here and now that you can have it all, it's just eventually you will have it all, because life is about phases and seasons and chapters. And so, if you do make a decision, it's about making decisions too. If it's that, and again, I speak from the priority in my life as being a mom, it's, okay, I had kids, and so I had to slow down my career progression a few times, but I always knew ultimately what I wanted to pursue, to your point. Mm-hmm. And so that I knew in myself the confidence, learning from my grandmother, that in time, that's in me and it will come back. But right now the focus is in making sure that my daughters, probably what your mom was thinking too, that they have what they need, and the sacrifices I made for them. And I love to share a couple of the stories with them and they hear it 5,000 times, but the things that I did during my career for their good, right? So now I can look back and say I do have it all because I with guidance, I just learned to, you know, at the time I have this many hours in the day. I've got one daughter that's competitive dancer, the other one's soccer. I have this stack of work. I have this opportunity to go into this detail. Okay, and they all require the same amount of time. So how am I going to juggle all those things? And you know, so eventually it is about having it all. It's just you have to understand in yourself, you're competing against yourself. And I think a lot of times what women do in our in the professional world is men, you know, what drives men, it's just the whole power. You know, you tend to have people as you move up in ranks, there's got to be some ego to that, some ambition. And so the difference with women is we tend to compare ourselves to the next woman, you know, over. It's like, well, you've got kids, I've got kids, or, you know, I'm a bad mom, my kids are going to grow up to be axe murderers because I decided to go on this detail. I mean, that's how we think. It's true. And that's, you have to learn, and I tell my girls now, just think about, you know, what's right for you, and don't compare, because that will hinder about, do you have it all? And then you might lose some things along the way and, you know, want to do it and think twice about it.